Picture this. You go to your favorite local grocery store and 3 of every 4 of your favorite fruits and vegetables are nowhere to be found. Now, this isn't some dystopian universe. It could be what it's like in the next few years if we don't take action. You won't be able to find apples, berries, and almonds, some of your favorite grocery list items. Today, I'm here to persuade you that we should take immediate action in investigating and fixing what has happened with the sharp spike in honeybee deaths. First, we're going to take a look at the problem. Then, I'm going to provide you with a few ways we could take action. And finally, I'm going to tell you about the future of what it could be like if we don't take action versus if we do. Let's jump into the problem. Now, one of the biggest problems is the economic losses. So with the collapse of honeybee colonies, of course, honeybees pollinate our food, so crops, and if that's not getting pollinated, they're dying, and so you won't be able to find them in stores. AVMA estimates that there was a over $139 million loss in the apiary industry in just a year, and this is like beekeepers and whatnot, like the people who are saving the bees. And CBS News reports that 25% of commercial operations could be out of business by the end of the year if action is not taken. Now, 25% is definitely not a small feat. That is a very large number. That's a quarter of the apiary districts or apiary industry. But this also goes to show that it's not just beekeepers that are being affected, and it's not just individual people, it's the nation as a whole and the economy. So that is very important. Now, another of the main issues, which I think is the biggest issue, is that these pesticides, there's obviously many pesticides on agriculture these days because it helps the plants grow. But there are pesticide-resistant mites that are carrying viruses, and these are spreading everywhere, and it's the main cause for the death of these bees. The USDARS on June 2nd, 2025, mentions that research found high virus levels in collapsed bee colonies, which is proving that this is the reason that they collapsed. So not only are these mites feeding on the bees, they're also leaving viruses in them that are breaking down the bees' immune systems and killing off the colonies. So first, I just talked to you about the problem. Now, let me tell you a few ways that we could take action to solve this issue. The first would be supporting legislation based on saving bees' health. So in California, a bill was introduced that created a program that provides grants to do things like planting crops, increase the safe use of pesticides or decrease the use of pesticides, and also increase the availability of supplemental feed to bees. And all of these are just, again, aiding in the rebuilding of the honeybee population. CalMatters, according to CalMatters on June 24th, 2025. So in general, this is just doing things like contacting legislation and voicing your opinion and support on the fact that these grants should be provided, or we should be taking action in saving the bees. Another very important action that we could take is using more sustainable pesticide practices. So like I said before, pesticides are one of the main issues in the death or the high death rates of these honeybees. And scientists and beekeepers have warned that it weakens the immune system of the bees, according to The Guardian on March 25th, 2025. So again, sustainable pesticide practices and supporting legislation are the two main ways we could take action in saving the bees. first I talked to you about the problem, then I talked to you about a few actions that we could possibly take to help this issue become less of an issue. And now let me tell you about what the future could look like if we don't take action. If we don't take action, 80% of bee loss annually could be very, very possible. Now that is an extreme loss. Just like put that into perspective, that would mean no almonds, no fruits, vegetables, apples, berries at the store, any of that, which would be pretty devastating for the food industry, not just the ecosystems. This would also, of course, cause prices of food to rise. And of course there are things like that aren't vegetables and fruits and whatnot that you could eat, but they're very essential to your diet. CBS News on March 29th, 2025 mentioned that this could change the way we consume food in the US. Now, this could obviously happen in other places, but it is mainly an issue in the US. Now, in the future, that's what could happen if we don't take action. But if we do take action, if we invest in legislation to save the bees and start restrict pesticide use and support more sustainable pesticide use possibly, then this could stabilize the honeybee population. And according to the AVMA on May 14th, 2025, this could lead to healthy pollinators and secure food, which is the main goal in the end. Now, today I talked about the problems associated with the spike in the deaths of honeybees and the fact that we need to take action. I told you about a few ways that we could take action, and then I talked about the future that could happen if we don't take action versus if we do. Now, next time you see a honeybee buzzing around, remember that they are important to our future, and they are not just another little bug floating around. Thank you.